So one of the things that can really be triggered when a message like this is heard, that there is no self, there's no one at the center of anything. All of this is empty. It's empty love. When something like this is heard, there can be glimpses, there can be these moments of absolute sheer relief, bliss, joy. And sometimes what can follow is an emptying out of the system, the emptying out of the personal. But as this is happening, it's more fully felt. It's more raw. It's more vulnerable. The inner child is really felt more real than ever. The insecurities can be triggered more than ever. So this is where like self-development, self-help, therapy, like working on the self, loving the self, where all of it can be helpful in the sense that you are learning to deconstruct the false beliefs that were picked up in childhood, the protection mechanisms that were picked up in childhood. Because what can happen is that the child is so vulnerable and they just want love and acceptance because it feels like survival for them. So it picks up these unconscious beliefs and ways of being. For example, being the good girl, staying quiet, not making a fuss. And it continues that kind of pattern throughout its lifetime. And so as the body matures, that protection mechanism isn't needed anymore. So it takes kind of a conscious effort to psychologically understand that, understand what's going on a mental level, and also understanding that this is an energetic habit in the body. It's not only psychological. So when the self is really confronted and it's really threatened, then those unconscious beliefs and patterns can come up full force, full on, that perhaps I'm not worthy, that it can say all sorts of things. But honestly, this is the perfect opportunity to really feel through everything, to really look at everything with love, look at everything with innocence. And it is uncomfortable. It most probably will be resisted because it's the most difficult thing to feel through, the most difficult thing to confront. And most people aren't able to really get to the root of the identity. They're living more on the surface, on top of it, unconsciously avoiding that, which is so understandable. for whatever reason, when there is this willingness to really go to the deep, dark, and the ugly, which is really just an innocent child, it's just this vulnerable, raw energy of absolute neediness, insecurity, just wanting to be loved, just wanting to be held, just wanting to hear that it's gonna be okay. When that energy is really allowed to be, express, fully come out with all of its fears, sometimes that's the medicine. That's the medicine that can soften and release this energetic sense of self that started at that very young age.
Walked right over you. Sorry.
It's okay.
So tiny and we're talking.
No worries.
All we're really afraid of is that energy, is that little child within. We're scared of being that needy, that insecure, that lost. And honestly, it is a lot for the body to handle. And it is good to have some sort of support. And to support the body, to strengthen the body, to make sure it has what it needs. Because this can really be one of the most difficult things to go through. A death while the body is still alive. It's not easy. Not at all. All I can say is that there is no you, but if it feels like there is, you are so loved. You are so perfect exactly the way you are. There is nothing to fear. You've done nothing wrong.